broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing after shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Yeah.
There we go.
Welcome to another episode of Blackish ABC's AfterBuzz recap show right here. We do this every week. We only have, one more episode left?
One more episode.
So before the season finale. I'm your host, Megan Thomas, at Meg Scoop on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Who are you?
Hey, you guys, it's Stacy Ike. You guys can catch me on Twitter and Instagram at OneTakeStace.
Yes, and make sure you follow AfterBuzz TV. Just click the subscribe button. It is below. There's a billion other shows on AfterBuzz TV. I'm sure you watch another show and you'd love to watch the recap. And be sure to go to iTunes and SoundCloud and follow us so you can get these wonderful podcasts every single week.
Love it.
All right, and if you have any questions or comments, make sure you use the hashtag ABTVBlackish.
Can I just say you look fabulous? I cannot get over this lip color.
You're so funny.
Oh
you're
my
so
gosh.
sweet.
No, it's fabulous.
I'm trying to be you. Give me your necklace now. Now,
we'll talk about it after.
Yes, so this is episode 23,
Yeah.
Elephant in the Room. We're talking about being Republicans.
Right.
Every single week, this show never ceases to amaze me about the stuff that you're like, that you really feel like you never thought about it, but being black is like a secret.
Yeah.
And then they be revealing the secrets.
And you're like, okay, I can't just live my
life.
life. Like, I didn't know we all talk. And the thing is, it's so funny. I literally had this conversation on Black Tea Party at Black Hollywood Live, another show that I host here. And we were talking about this. Do black people vote, Republican? And what about the celebrities who vote Republican? Because isn't there like a rumor that Nicki Minaj is Republican?
I don't know, but you know what? Here's the funny part, because as conservative as black people are, we're not big on gay people in the family. Like it's like last episode, very hush hush. You don't talk about that.
Right.
For us to be so conservative, it would make sense that we are, as a people, we probably should be voting Republican, right?
In some respects.
You would think,
right.
yeah, in some respects. But then, of course, Bo brings a couple things up. They're not liberal. They're very not very racist.
Yeah. She was like, I don't want the immigrants.
Yeah, all this stuff. So it's really, really funny because I'm like, wait, on one hand, and then the other hand, okay, I see.
Yeah.
So let's get into it. So we're talking about black people not being Republicans, but Junior has joined the Young Republicans Club at school.
Yeah, he's the guinea pig for all the, when he had the bar mitzvah or whatever, and then,
it's fitting.
Yeah,
it's fitting.
It works.
Yeah, you're a Republican for sure. So he joins, and it's funny because we see the scene where Bo and Grandma are both like, what? Republican? You mean a publican? You mean a notary public? You mean like everything but a Republican, because there's just no way they can fathom him being a Republican.
Right.
I was like, you guys are doing the most. But it was funny.
Right, 20 minutes later.
Right, 20 minutes later. Wait, you mean what? Like, okay. But I thought it was really funny because, when they're hugging, that's the first time that in this episode that we see them excited and happy to hug each other because they agree. Like, you can't.
But then she made like an eye thing. She was like, let me tap you, baby.
Right.
like I'm gonna hug you, but I still think you're annoying. I was like, wow, she's not even gonna give you a little. But it was good to see them embrace for me. Yeah.
Okay, so then we see Dre at work. And he's talking to his coworkers. I love the coworker talks.
Me too.
I do. And he's talking about, his son being a Republican, and I cracked up when Charlie goes into his tirade about all the black dudes.
Oh, you mean Charlie? Yes,
all the black dudes that date white women. But
he said Charles Barkley. Like he literally
kept going.
I was like, Tay Diggs, Charles Barkley. Like these are all people that you don't think about it.
Like, whoa, Lamar Odom. Who else? He said O.J. Simpson. He said a lot of people.
Kanye West. He
said
Tiger did. Like he threw
everybody.
everybody. That was kind of. I don't know. What did you feel about that? Was that weird for you?
No. Well, it was funny because it's true.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I've never had a problem with interracial, dating at all. But there is something to say that so many black men are just so uninterested in black women. I think that's what I heard. I'm like, dang.
But you know what? Wait, I think we look at it like that. But then I think the question should be, why aren't black women more interested in men of other cultures? That to me is a more important question, because then it goes, well, it seems like we're faulting these men for dating outside of the race. But then the question is, why aren't black women doing the same thing?
Black women are trying to do the same thing. I think sometimes.
Well, if we started to name that list, our list would not be as long
it
and
wouldn't
as
be as
quick
long. It wouldn't
as
be
Charlie's
as long.
list.
It wouldn't be long, but also there's a fault at being a woman, and to me, I'm a little traditional, so I'm not gonna get a man unless he wants me. Right. Bottom line. So if a white guy ain't checking, a black guy ain't checking, a Hispanic guy, then I'm just out here. Like, that's what it is. Because if they're
Stacey, that's like saying like white dude. Nobody's checking for black women. Is that the point that you're making?
I'm not gonna say that, because I think black women are fabulous, and that better not be the point. But some days I've had friends who think that's the case.
I feel like this. Look, you be fabulous, because I feel like there's actually, I know a lot of, we live in LA, so there's a lot of, I feel like a lot of white dudes that will be like, hey, what's up?
What's up?
I love when your hair is curly. Don't straighten it.
Right. No, that's LA.
Wait, what?
Houston, I've seen it. LA, I've seen it. I've lived a couple of different places, have not seen it. Midwest, never. So I don't know. I would never generalize like that and say like people aren't checking, because that's so not true. And then even there are so many black women that are dating out of their race, but you're right. The list is not as long. Right. So
but I think as black women, we have to change that. I think it starts with us and our mindset, because for us, we kind of feel, and Chris Rock said this in one of his stand-ups, like, black women aren't willing to step outside of their race. They're looking for like, oh, well, I just want a black man. You're going to be by yourself for a long time, because they checking for everybody. Right. Not just you. Their list is like this. Right. Your list is like this. Right. So expand your list.
My list has always been like this. I don't know if it's the way my parents raised me or what city, what neighborhood, but I've probably been interested in at least 4 or 5 different races versus like just black, You
better date the rainbow.
Listen. It looks better with they look good with your clothes. Anyway, continue.
So back to the meeting, and we see that his it's funny because what's the guy? Josh, is that his name? The coworker? Not the boss, the other guy.
Is it Josh? I don't remember.
What's his name? You guys go ahead and type that below, guys.
Tweet us real quick.
Anyway, he so of course he's like, my dad's like not racist. He's a Republican.
He always starts his sentences with, "I'm not a racist, but I died."
And then of course their boss talking about I have an Uncle Tom story. And he's like, "Wait, that's not a good thing, is it?" No, it's not. We all know a couple Uncle Toms or two.
Oh, I was like, wow, Kenya wrote that. That was so,
I know.
That was a queasy scene.
Yo, Kenya, you telling people stuff.
Yeah, that was a queasy scene.
Can you be yours? Stop telling people stuff. All right, so then we see that Dre has a big issue with his namesake, his son, wanting to join this organization, but he brings all these books to him. But we find out that Junior really only joined because of a girl named Hillary. Mm-hmm. Not Hillary Clinton.
Funny.
Not to be confused with Hillary Clinton.
Right.
And so, of course, then he's like, oh, well, that's fine then. Forget all these books on liberalism and why black people shouldn't vote Republican. Like, forget all of that.
Right.
And, but then, he's like, if that's the only reason, no big deal. You're not really a Republican.
Right.
But then, of course, little girl Hillary takes him to go see some conservative, Tea Party-ish type of people. Grover Norquist. She gives him Dick Cheney's book, and he's talking about how...
Hero pimp.
Right. And I'm just sitting here like, see, Dre, that's what you get.
I know. Okay, did you feel like it was an incomplete way to parent the situation?
Absolutely. He always does that.
Yeah, he does.
He always, and of course, Bo says to him, that's even worse, that you would allow him to be okay with joining this organization because of a woman, because women have the power.
Yes.
Just like him eating his seaweed.
Yeah.
Seaweed is
that
good.
was so funny when she said that. She was like, it's from that sea.
It's a weed from the sea.
I love that. Literally, I was hearing like Who Run the World when she was giving that speech, because it was just so funny. She's like, women have the power to make guys do whatever. And I wrote that down to say, like, do you think that's 100% true, 99% true, 85%?
It's so true. Like, you can see there have been wars waged because of women.
Scandal. Yeah.
Helen of Troy. You know what I'm saying? There's just... So, of course, I think women have more power than we even recognize.
Sure.
And especially, you got your husband eating seaweed. He didn't even know that it's nasty. He's over here eating it.
Right.
It's good. I like it. And so, Dre and Bo sit down with Junior, and they're talking to him. And this is something that's really funny, and it brings up a good point. He's trying to convince his son not to be a Republican, but he cannot say why he's a Democrat. How many black people do not know why they vote Democrat? I would even say maybe like 90%.
90 is too high. Come on.
I kid you not.
90 is way too high.
I kid you not.
60. I can go with 60.
I can't agree with you on that. I respectfully disagree.
Can we say 90% of the people? You think 90% of the people you know?
90% of, yes, absolutely.
90% of the people you know.
90% of the people I know, and then 90% of the people I don't know. Just kidding. No, I'm just saying, I feel like there's a lot of people that vote and don't know why they're a Democrat. All they say is, oh, because that's what we've done, or because, that's what black people do, because Republicans don't really like black people. Like, but they don't really know.
That doesn't give credit to black people who are very politically charged or politically cultured.
The 10%.
Only 10?
But I'm saying, Stacy, as sad as it is, it's true. And we got to change that. Because there are so many people who don't know why they vote what they vote. I didn't vote for the longest because I couldn't tell you the answer to that.
Yeah.
I was like, well, I remember going into the polls with my mom and my dad, and they would, as a little kid, and they would let me see them punch the buttons. My mom, every time, would put all Democrat. And I'd be like, well, why don't we go, like, do you know?
Your mom's not even black.
That's what I'm saying. But even with my father, like, all Democrat. Like, and I would just be there like, wait, why don't, like, what does this person stand for? Who are they? My mom said, I don't know. We just vote Democrat. I was like, well, okay. So then I remember turning 18 and voting, and I was like, I don't feel right about that. And so I had to go explore, like, well, why do I have to vote Democrat? Or why am I supposed to vote Democrat? And after that, I'm glad I went through that journey, because now I am a more responsible voter, which is the way we should be. We shouldn't just go into the polls and say, I'm going to vote this person because they look like me.
Right. No, definitely not. I wonder what that would seem like for, like, white people. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they look like, okay, so I guess I have to. You know what I mean? Like, I don't.
What do you mean? I'm going to vote for somebody because they look. That's everybody on a ballot. Like, mostly.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. I'm saying, what is that experience like? They don't have that. They don't go in like, I'm voting for something. Doesn't mean that they have to be more politically cultured. That's what I mean.
I would say I would say percentage wise of the amount of people that go to the polls, it does seem that way, because percentage wise, there are more white people that vote than black people.
Yeah, that's true. I can agree with that. Yeah,
maybe so, because you can't just go, I'm just going to vote for someone who looks like you. Everyone on the ballot looks like you. So maybe you do have to, and maybe in those instances, there's a lot of people that still will go, I'm a Democrat, I'm a Republican, all Democrat, all Republican. I don't know.
Very frustrating and interesting, like, because we've talked about this a lot lately, especially with all the stuff happening in politics now. We need to do better, people. We
do. Let us know what you think, and be sure to use the hashtag ABTV Blackish. Tell us your thoughts politically, what it's like for you and in your experience. So then, of course, the Johnsons go and meet Hillary's parents. Which was hilarious. They pull up to this nice, massive mansion, and Hillary's parents are explaining why they're Republicans. But it's it kind of makes sense. Yeah, they're like, okay, we had to get through the racist, right? But for small business owners, this is actually a good thing.
He was like, y'all own a Fortune 500 company. She was like, well, it wasn't that. It's only in the fours,
Right.
I was like, I just thought it was very interesting when she said, that she thinks working women are selfish. And the way Bo responded to that was the dopest to me. I'm not saying that, like, she was right or she was wrong, but just Bo defending herself as a doctor and a mom, that was pretty cool for me. I don't know. What do you think?
No, I'm glad she did that, but it also was like, and that's why Dre was like, well, I ain't got to say nothing. Let me back up.
Let me talk. I was like, this whole scene is hilarious.
No, you ain't. Is that what you call let me talk? Like, that was hilarious. And so then, of course, Junior's upset about that. He's like, whatever, and the parents, they don't understand why he just won't believe what they believe. And here comes Grandma Ruby, always on time, and saying, you can't force your beliefs on your kids, except when it comes to Jesus.
Which I kind of agree with.
That is like such an old school black grandma.
It is, because I'm not going to lie. Like, I feel like there's so many things now I can argue with my parents about since college. Like, I just say, no, parents, I don't think this. But literally, they'll be like, oh, we're going to church. And like, nothing's changed. It doesn't matter where I live.
Right.
It doesn't matter. You going, and I've always been, yeah.
You gonna pray on you gonna pray and you gonna pray to Black Jesus, as Grandma Ruby says. So it's so funny because that is such something that a grandma would say. Let's talk about Diane's situation though.
Oh yeah.
Her wanting her sister to have glasses because she doesn't like her Gurgle nickname.
Yeah.
What did you think about that?
I'm not gonna lie, it was a little harsh for me because she's like 10, and I don't know how old she's in the show, but I guess since we've met her, and I'm like, she's so cute. Like, I like see her, and I'm like, why are they making these jokes? Like, it was funny. Her acting was amazing. Her timing was hilarious. The lines were funny. Like everything she said, but the way Dre handled it as a dad, I'm like, I don't get it. Does he not like see? You know, because he's the comedic dad, but some of the stuff I'm like, conquer this, please. Like,
yeah, like I wanted him to like kiss her on the forehead when he was like,
Give her
oh,
some
you're
kind
a
of-
Gurgle.
yeah.
Like hug her, kiss her on the forehead and keep it moving.
Yeah.
But the fact that he just like looked at her like a stepkid, I don't know. And I think I have a problem with that too because, you know, and especially in our culture, there's still a lot of colorism. And if you notice, Diane is their brownest baby. And so for him to treat her like that, I didn't really like that.
Yeah.
Not saying that he treats her like that because she's the brown baby, but I'm saying that because there's a lot of families who do have a colorist aspect. And to treat her like that, I was just kind of like,
and to put in it was very uncomfortable. I'm not gonna lie.
Right.
Like I wanted to say, oh, this is just funny, but I especially at the end when she was like, I played this all wrong. I'm like, okay, cool. Give me a funny line to like not be as mad as I am because I was kind of mad. Well, I was like, I don't know if I like the way this was. You know, I don't know.
I didn't like. I don't know. He should have been more. Even though he obviously had these nicknames, he should have still been more loving. Can I see a
10.
hug?
She's the
Can
youngest
I see you kiss her
one.
forehead
Yeah.
after you call her Gurgle?
Yeah.
Something that was more loving. And he didn't do that, and that to me took the fun away from that whole scene.
Yes, agreed. I do. I agree.
Yeah. Well, let's get into some predictions before we get out of here.
Let's see. So with predictions,
What do you think? So it's one more.
No, next week is the finale.
That's what I'm saying. One more episode.
Oh, okay, got it.
do you think's
So
gonna happen?
Courtney Tesno's not here, but she got to play background in this episode. So she's she won't tell me anything, but she's saying it's going to be amazing. So my prediction is it better be amazing. And
Hopefully
I hear
we get to see her
Yes,
in
that's
this
it. That's
episode.
we're all going to be watching real close. So y'all look out for her.
Yes.
But I'm hoping that we get something in a different location. Give us something else. Like we know his job, we know her job, we know the house. I want something else. I don't know if it's Zoe's school or seeing Diane in school or something, but I want something where they're not. I want a different dynamic aspect to their lives.
So I have seen a clip of it. So they've played on TV. So it looks like a 1920s Harlem Renaissance type of
thing. And there's
cotton
guests.
club type of. And so I think it's gonna be fun.
Okay.
It's a flashback, flash forward. I don't know what it is, but it looks like it's gonna be a lot of fun. So I predict it's gonna go out with a bang.
Yes.
And season 2 is gonna be even awesomer.
You're amazing. Yes, and they're gonna have guests. Isn't P Diddy on next week's
Is he?
episode?
I don't know.
They tweeted something special, so somebody's gonna be amazing on the episode. Yes.
shut up.
Love it.
Shut up. All right. Okay, before we get out of here, Stacy, where can we find you?
You guys can check me out on Twitter and Instagram at @OneTakeStace. Keep in touch. Make sure you hashtag AfterBuzz Blackish, ABTV Blackish, excuse me, and tweet me and keep in touch with me until next week.
And as always, you can find me, Megan Thomas, on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Meg Scoop, like scoop of ice cream. Make sure you hit me up because I want to know what you think. Put your comments below. Thank you. See you next week for the season finale. Woo, woo, woo. Shake that thing. Woo, 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 woo.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
I don't feel like black women don't date outside the race. I feel like they. Why? Okay, this is me. I'm